in this diagram, where will you put high interactivity client and standard interactivity client? In chapter 1, you heard about high interactivity, standard interactivity. What does it pertain to in this diagram?
Desktop जो है.
Okay, so I'm going to speak something. Let's see whether you understand it or not. Basically, all these companies, they have typical builds. Okay, first the issue is, like these companies, like when they are upgrading, SQL, like let's say they were using 6 before and now they're using 7.8. They have to see whether, let's say 6 was compatible with the XP and Vista. They have to see whether 7.8 is also compatible with XP or Vista or not. And those are not the only two softwares with which you have to check. You might have to check whether Yahoo Messenger is interfering with 7.8, whether some other SAP add-in is interfering with the SQL 7.8. You have to check it with reference to each and everything that is going to be installed on the laptop of the RAM. So
what is it true that
what these companies do is basically these companies maintain a standard build of the RAP's laptop. This is the standard build. After that RAP installs something, it's not company's duty. But he installs, AIM, AOL Messenger, whatever. But there will be a standard build, like they'll use XP, then there will be a SAP add-on in it. There will be a this thing. There will be a this thing. My company has a standard build of the laptop. There are like 15 or 20 softwares that they install as part of that build. So within this huge infrastructure of my company, then there is a CBIL implementation team. So that CBIL implementation team has to ensure that it will ask, US team and US build engineers, what is the standard build of various engineers, various RAPs in the field. Then CBIL, like this CBIL implementation team has to ensure that it adheres to all the builds in the US team. Now let's say let's say we are rolling out global deployment. Let's say it is gonna be used in China, Korea, India, everywhere. Then what do we do? What we do is we get the builds for all those places, standard builds of all these places, and then we test CBIL's compatibility with those builds. Now, the important thing is, you should be, when you're working on this thing, on CBIL implementations, as a CBIL engineer or as a CBIL BA, you should know very well. You should be basically well versed in reading the release notes of CBIL. Certain compatibility issues might be mentioned there. All the compatible programs will be mentioned there. All the incompatible programs will be mentioned there. There might be certain workarounds for incompatibilities if there are any. So you, as a CBIL BA, should be like be able to look at all these various places and suggest stuff. If you're working on an upgrade project as a CBIL BA, you'll simply see that these kind of issues will come your way, and you should be able to look at the release notes. So release notes is not the only place where you can go. You can also go to, you're supposed to go to support web. Some compatibility issues might be written there. Let's say, your company has some quality center adding, and that many of, I'm not sure, but many of your reps are supposed to use. It might be mentioned in quality center or CBIL, that these are incompatible. It could be mentioned on support web. You can go to forums to study all this. There are a lot of places where you go and study all this. So